Did you know that every time you name what you're feeling, your brain is doing something incredible? There's real science behind why putting emotions into words helps us feel more grounded, more clear, and less overwhelmed. Studies using fMRI scans show that when we accurately identify our emotions, especially when we use precise words instead of broad, general ones, something shifts in our brains. Neuroscientist and professor Dr. Dan Siegel calls this process name it to tame it. And what happens in our brain is simple but powerful. When we identify and accurately label our emotions, we engage the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that helps with reasoning, self-awareness, and emotional regulation. At the same time, activity in the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for stress, fear, and emotional reactivity, begins to decrease. Instead of being swept away by emotion, we create just enough space to observe it and understand it. And that changes everything. Instead of our feelings bubbling just below the surface, labeling our emotions brings them into our conscious awareness, making them feel less overwhelming and more understandable. Instead of being stuck in a loop of stress, tension, or confusion, we start to feel more spaciousness, more relief, more clarity. What felt chaotic starts to make sense. And naming our emotions isn't just about self-awareness. It's a powerful practice for self-healing. So today, I'm going to guide you through a gentle somatic exercise to help you name what you're feeling in a way that brings emotional clarity and relief. And we won't just be using words. We'll also be using self-havening, a simple but powerful technique that uses soothing touch to calm your nervous system and deepen your connection to your body. This name it to tame it process is inspired by a havening technique called transpirational havening, though I teach it in a slightly different way than it's traditionally practiced. By combining mindful awareness with gentle touch, we create the perfect conditions for emotional release, self-regulation, and deep self-compassion. I personally use this practice all the time to ground myself, shift my emotional state, and reconnect with my inner world in a way that feels kind and supportive. And while this is an incredible tool for emotional clarity and relief, sometimes we need a deeper process to work through what's coming up. If that's the case for you, I have other episodes that guide you through more in-depth emotional healing, like episode 27, a body-centered parts work process, or episode 40, Somatic Meditation to Feel Your Emotions. So just know that those resources are here for you as well. But for this episode, I invite you to let this name it to tame it practice be a gift to yourself. A moment to name what's here, to soften into it, and discover what happens when you meet yourself with curiosity and care. Welcome to Somatic Healing Meditations, the podcast that helps you regulate your nervous system, deepen your healing journey, and feel better in your body. I'm Karenna with Hello Inner Light, and I'm so happy you're here. I'm a somatic healing coach who specializes in compassionate, body-centered processing techniques that help you heal the wounds that are holding you back. So if that's the kind of content you need more of in your life, please subscribe to this podcast and join me every Friday on this beautiful journey out of your head and into your more embodied and authentic self. And if you want to learn even more about how to regulate your nervous system and connect with your body and emotions in a deep and supportive way, I have a free mini course called the Feel It to Heal It mini course that's available on my website. In 5 powerful mini lessons, it will help you drop in, deepen your compassionate self-understanding, and find more clarity and healing on your journey. Now, before we get started, here's a quick word from the sponsors that make all this free content possible. Now, let's dive into this name it to tame it process for emotional clarity and relief. So, we're going to do self-havening for this entire exercise, and there are 3 ways that you can do self-havening. The first is that you rub your palms together, just gently, with a pace and a pressure that feels good to you, rubbing your palms together. The second way you can do self-havening is to rub down your arms from shoulder to elbow, shoulder to elbow, shoulder to elbow, just going down. And the third way to do self-havening is to gently rub anywhere on your face, cheeks, or forehead. So for this entire name it to tame it practice, you're going to do havening in one of those ways, either rubbing your palms together, rubbing down your arms from shoulder to elbow, or rubbing anywhere on your face, cheeks, or forehead. And you can move between those different types of touch in whatever way feels good to you. So, the havening touch has been shown to create delta waves in deep parts of your brain. And these delta waves signal to your amygdala that you're safe and that it can relax. So this effectively downregulates your amygdala, which can decrease your stress hormones, and increase the happiness chemicals in your brain and body, such as oxytocin, serotonin, and GABA. So doing the havening touch and modifying it in any way that it needs to be modified so it feels good to you and to your body in this moment. And as you do the havening touch, really notice how it feels. You can do the havening touch slowly and really feel the texture of your skin. You can feel all the little lines that run across your palms. Maybe you can even feel all the tiny little bumps and ridges that form your fingerprints. Breathing, feeling the temperature of your skin. And feeling the gentle movement and the gentle pressure of the self-havening. And as you breathe, and as you do the self-havening, your awareness just begins to drop into the present moment more and more. Notice that as you do the havening touch, you can also feel your breath. You can feel the air moving in and out through your nostrils. maybe you can feel the rhythmic rise and fall of your rib cage and your tummy that happens with every inhale and exhale. Feeling your breath and saying hello to your body. And as you bring your awareness more and more to your body, you'll just become aware of how you feel right now. As your awareness drops in, you may feel body sensations such as pulsing or gurgling or little vibrations inside, or areas of tension or contraction or discomfort potentially. Or you may feel emotions. So for this name it to tame it practice, just remember that there's no wrong thing to feel, and there's no wrong way to feel. So just noticing what's actually here, right now, in this moment. So breathing and noticing your feelings, your body sensations, your emotions, whatever is here. And one feeling within is going to begin to call your attention more than the other things you're feeling right now. So noticing what's calling your attention. And we're going to begin to put words to that feeling in just a moment to name it, to tame it. But first, just begin to feel it in your body. So where do you feel this feeling that's calling your attention the most? Is it more on the left or the right? Or maybe it's centralized, or maybe it's everywhere. Is it more deep or superficial? Or maybe both, or neither? How big is it, or how much space does it take up within or around you? Noticing the height, width, thickness, and shape of this feeling. And noticing anything else you notice about this feeling as well. Perhaps it has a color or a quality. Perhaps it reminds you of something. And you may be getting answers to all of these questions I'm posing, or you may not, and that's okay. Remember, there's no way to do this wrong. These questions are just meant to take you deeper so that you can understand this feeling in a different way. but it's okay if you don't have answers. And continuing to do the havening touch, you're going to draw closer to this feeling with your awareness. It's like you just draw closer to the color, the shape, the texture, the quality, whatever it is that you're noticing about this feeling. And you're going to begin to put words to it. And the words can be anything that feels right to you. So it could be feeling words. You could describe body sensations you're having. Could be words that represent emotions, or it could be anything. I've had students and clients use words that only mean something to them. The most important thing is that the word feels right. It feels coherent with whatever the feeling is. And as you do the havening touch, you're going to repeat these words over and over. So let me give you an example. Say I'm feeling some tension in my shoulders and jaw. I might just say tension, 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 tightness, tightness, anxious, anxious. So you just keep repeating words, and as the feeling changes, your words will change. And again, you're looking for words that feel right. It's been shown that when we find words that feel right, the activity in our amygdala decreases. So go ahead and begin. Remember, repeat the words. Use any words that feel right, and let your words change as the feeling changes. And I'm going to be quiet, but I'll chime in with additional instructions a few times during this process. Breathing and feeling, just letting your words come forward. And remember, there's no way to do this wrong. So you may not always find the right words on the first try, but you're just continuing to repeat words, continuing to let the words change as the feelings change. And as you do this, you may begin to feel better, or you may begin to feel some relief pretty quickly. And so your words will move to words that describe this relief. Like I always name when my breath changes or when my posture changes. But it's also possible that you'll begin to feel things that are more intense. It's pretty common that when we begin to drop in and name what we're feeling, acknowledge what we're really feeling, it will become a little bit more intense because we've been tamping it down. And so maybe what just feels like a little bit of tension will turn into a lot of rage or fear or sadness or anything like that. And again, there's no wrong way to feel, and there's no wrong thing to feel. And so you're continuing to repeat the words that most accurately describe whatever you're feeling. And you're continuing to do the havening touch. Breathing, just repeating words that feel right to you. And noticing the recognition, the understanding, the acknowledgement that happens as you repeat these words. There's healing in honesty. There's healing in meeting ourselves where we are and acknowledging what we're really feeling. Breathing, letting your words come forward. And remember that the havening touch is here to support you. And remember that naming your emotions brings your prefrontal cortex online, which gives you a little bit more space, a little bit more clarity, and often a little relief. And at some point, your feelings will move toward softening or relief. Something will shift in your body or your breath. And so name that as well, repeating those words just as you repeat any of the other words like softening, softening, softening. A deeper breath. So continuing to repeat those words until you find yourself repeating words that represent some level of healing or compassion or relief. And spend a few minutes with these words of relief or softening or understanding, and notice how that feels in your body. breathing. Just notice how you feel now. What's shifted in your feelings or in your body? What looks different to you now? And what do you understand now that you didn't understand before? Doing just another minute of self-havening here. Go ahead and ask your body if there's anything else it wants or needs before we bring this to a close, and just listen for any answer your body gives you. Taking one more breath and naming anything else that wants to be named. And when you're ready, just let the havening touch go and let your eyes flutter open. Great work. So, I'm curious, how was that name it to tame it practice for you? What did you realize? And what shifted within you? Please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me today. As a reminder, you're invited to enroll in my free mini course, the Feel It to Heal It mini course, to experience even more regulation, inner connection, and clarity. If you enjoyed today's episode, it would mean so much to me if you would subscribe to this podcast and also rate and review it. You could also send this episode to a friend who you think would enjoy it. And don't forget to join me every Friday on this beautiful journey out of your head and into your more embodied and authentic self.